Allegedly, the audio is supposed to be going through the HDMI port.
It's supposed to, but it doesn't.
Yeah. I have it up. It's like HDMI, but it's clearly coming through my speakers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we had similar problems when we would like pull up an app and we would like try to put the workout on the screen. We could hear it on our phone, but we couldn't hear it on the TV, and that wasn't very loud when you like backed away from it.
Interesting.
But so I'll tell Ken again, because I had Lisa tell Ken last week or the week before or whatever. She was like, I couldn't get the sound to work when she was trying to do something, and I was like, yep. Oh, anyways. All right. We are going to start on all fours. What you're going to do is you're going to gently press your hands down into the ground, arching up in your back, trying to create a really big arch. Your tailbone is tucked under, looking down at your hands. What you're going to do is you're going to breathe in really deep through your nose. As you exhale, do not lose that arch. Keep that arch, keep that tuck, keep the core engaged, and then repeat. So we're just going to hang out right here for a little bit, taking some really big deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, holding on to that arch in your back and your spine. As you breathe in, you might notice that you feel a stretch coming across your back, and that is a good thing. It should feel nice. And what this is doing is this is just resetting our rib cage, kind of settling it back into position. Sometimes stress or things that we do throughout the day kind of unsettle us or put us in a not good position. So what we're doing is we're just kind of settling ourselves back into that good position. And then as you do this, take note, like, is it different for you to have your breath go all the way back into your back, into like the back side of your lungs? If that is different for you, and if that feels new or, significant, then maybe this is something you need to work on, which is just kind of making sure your breath gets into all of your lungs. All right, since we're already in a good position here, what we're going to do is you're going to bring it up, oops, I'm out of the screen, bring one foot forward here. Doesn't really matter which foot, you'll switch sides. You're going to tuck that tailbone under, engaging that core. You can lean a little bit into it, but really work on squeezing your backside so that you feel a really nice stretch right here down the front side of your leg, up into your hip flexor right here. This sometimes gets tight because we sit a lot during the day. So right now we're just gently stretching that area, remembering to breathe. If you need more of a stretch, take that opposite arm, reach it up. Oops, sorry, opposite arm, reach it up. I'm like, that doesn't feel like a stretch. Reaching that arm towards the ceiling, or you can just stay right here, holding that nice, just even stretch, squeezing that glute. And we're going to switch sides. So switch to the other side, the opposite of wherever you started. Keep that tailbone tucked under so your core is lightly engaged. It's holding you in place right now. Maybe leaning into it a little bit, really squeezing that glute. And as you squeeze that glute, you're going to feel that stretch on the front side. Take note. Now, I did my left side first, so now I'm stretching my right side. Does one side feel tighter than the other? Was one side looser than the other? Maybe you need to return. You're like, I should return to my left side later. Definitely give that side a little more attention. If you're needing a little bit more of a stretch, taking that arm, reaching it up. Oh, Riley wants to visit. I closed the door so she can't get in here. Reaching up, breathing. Don't forget to breathe. And then coming back down to our knees. You can go wide knees, just sitting back into child's pose, putting your forehead down on the ground, kind of pressing those hands into the ground, feeling a nice stretch all right here in the upper back. And remember that deep breathing that we just did? Can you keep doing it? Can you keep that breath coming into your back right there? Because then you're going to get a little bit more out of the stretch and just really kind of get a nice relaxing feeling. Or you get a pulling feeling. So if your back a little tight up there, you might feel a little bit of a stretch as you do this and you breathe into your back. And that's okay. Keep doing it because that's good. Can hopefully kind of maybe like neurologically reverse some of that tightness back there by breathing into it. And now we're going to bring it over on to our back. So not forgetting that breathing that we did. What that did was help settle our rib cage. So if we take note of where our rib cage is, our ribs should not be like flared up as we're doing any of these exercises. We're settling it down. Our lower back is going to press down into the ground. Our core is going to be engaged as we just start alternating, picking up a foot off the ground. We're not using our hip flexors here. We're using our core. If you find that you start to come out of this exercise, just reset, tuck those ribs down, tuck that lower back to the ground, and to keep going. Continuing to breathe as you do this exercise. We're just going nice and slow and controlled. We're not doing this fast. We're just really focusing on activating those core muscles, waking them up, giving them the, the opportunity to keep us nice and strong throughout the day. Keep going. Is there really too many of these that you can do? I don't know, probably, but these are good to do for a little while. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Staying right there, down on the floor. We'll kind of engage some different muscles here in the core. We're going to bring our shoulder blades up off the ground, right here. And we're going to reach towards our heels, going from side to side. I kind of say it like looks like a little turtle on its back on this one. I don't know. That's just what I think of. Trying to keep those shoulder blades up. Trying to keep everything in the pelvis nice and stable. We're reaching with our upper body. We're closing that space down between our rib and our hip, but our hip is not moving to meet our rib. Our upper body is moving down to meet our hip. We're trying to keep this area nice and stable here, and that's what our core is helping us do.
Should be feeling this now, especially if you're keeping those shoulder blades up. Doesn't take too long. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Take a little rest. Take a nice big deep breath. You're going to set those feet down on the ground. Heels, you're going to try to bring them fairly close to your backside because we're going to make this for your glutes right here. I'm going to take my socks off so that they don't slip on the floor. Okay, bye socks. I don't have tennis shoes on. So. All right, so we're going to tuck that tailbone under, slowly rising up, keeping that core engaged so that we don't get a big arch in our back. We just kind of have neutral spine right now. Pressing up through our whole foot and really feeling our glutes engage. We're going to go nice and slow so that we can keep really good form as we do this bridge. You might even feel a little stretch right here. Hip flexors, especially if your hip flexors are tight. That's okay. That's just kind of a nice little added bonus. Let's go for here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, come back down to the floor. Take a nice big deep breath. This time we're going to bring our feet up to tabletop position. So similar to kind of what we started with, except for this time we're going to drop that foot down to the ground. So again, keeping that low back pressed against the ground, using our core, keeping that belly button to spine. Our ribs are down, they're not flaring up, we're not like arching, everything's down, in control. We're just alternating side to side right here. Really focusing again on that core activation, just from a little bit different angle. Remembering to breathe, and then also just remembering you can reset at any time. If you feel like you lost it, like your core is not engaged anymore, just go ahead, stop, reset, pin that lower back to the ground, make sure the belly button's to spine, and just start over. It's totally fine. Let's go for 10 more. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, grab your knees, tuck them in close, give yourself a little rock from side to side. Massage for your back down there on the floor, maybe even a little bit of release if your back is feeling tight. We're going to bring your feet down to the ground. We're going to bring our hands behind our head, and we're going to twist up, kind of in like a little side crunch, coming off, not all the way up, but trying to lift our shoulder blades off the ground as we activate the side core muscles, our obliques on the side of our waistline. Our hands behind our head is just helping us keep our neck out of it. We want the move to come from our core. We don't want it to just be like, I'm coming up because I'm lifting my neck off the ground. Sometimes the neck likes to take over. I'm not really worried how fast you're going, just that you're really focusing on those muscles in the core that are on the sides of your waistline. Thinking about closing that gap between the lower ribs and the top of the hip bone. You're even going to feel a little bit of those muscles on the top side of your abs. That's okay. It's just because we're kind of coming up as we do this. All good things. Let's go for 10 more. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, give yourself a little full body stretch here in between if you need to. Breathing, stretching out nice and long. We're going to bring those feet back in, kind of close to our backside, about shoulder width apart, hip width apart here. What we're going to do is kind of like a reverse one-legged bridge, if that makes sense. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up with both feet, and then you're going to pick one of your feet up, and then slowly set yourself back down. Set down that foot, bridge up with both feet, pick up the other foot, and then set yourself back down. So we're just alternating from side to side. On the bridge up, we have both feet. On the down, we have one foot. So remember to switch sides. What you're looking for here is that everything stays nice and stable here in the middle as you go down with that one foot. Are you able to hold this level? And are you able to do it without letting your hip shift up and down? That's your goal right here. So I don't really care how fast you go. Just really focus on keeping everything here nice and level. So this is true for when we walk, when we run, when we sit on a bike, really anything. Our pelvis should be staying nice and level. That way we can get all the power out of the glutes, all the stability out of the core as we do our movement. Hopefully, reduce the risk of any injury as we do it. Plus, if you're walking and you start to look like this, that would not be good. Remembering to breathe. If you're wondering what count we're on, I honestly have no idea. I'm just kind of rolling through this, trying to go nice and slow, really focus on my form, feeling those muscles on the side of my hips activate, especially as I go down and I'm one-legged here. We should not be feeling this in our back. If you're feeling this in your back, you got to tuck that tailbone under and engage the core muscles, because that means we're letting ourselves arch a little bit too much. We want to keep ourselves tucked under. All right, go ahead, relax, put one foot over the other, reaching through, give yourself a little stretch here. If you need more of a stretch, you can reach all the way to your shin. You kind of pick which one works for you. Really breathing into that stretch. And let's go ahead, switch sides. Taking note as you did this. Ooh, was one side a little bit tighter than the other? I'm taking note. I'm doing this on my left right now, and oh my goodness, the left side is definitely tighter than the right side. Definitely gonna want to give this one a little attention. As I'm doing this, I'm not pulling myself out of alignment to do this stretch. I'm kind of just doing it where my body is going today. So I'm not reaching to my shin today, because if I reach to my shin right now, I would have to like pull myself to the side, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just reaching through to the back of my leg. All right, go ahead, set down your feet. We're going to go for a little bit of a challenge exercise here for your core, but we're not going to do as many. So we did alternating feet. We did them up. We did them from the floor. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to do both feet up, keeping that lower back on the floor. If you need a little bit of a challenge, you can bring your shoulder blades off the floor. Otherwise, you can leave your head down on the floor, and you're just going to drop those feet down to the floor, nice and slowly, controlled. Keeping that lower back pressed to the floor. If that's too easy, add picking up with your shoulder blades, add maybe your arms, almost like in Pilates. You can like reach your arms forward right here. You should definitely feel that core lighting up right now, especially as we do this. And let's do a few just from the reverse position. So I'm up like this, but you could be down on the ground like this. But I'm going to do reverse, so starting on the floor and then picking my legs back up. So move slower off the floor, and I am setting them down a little bit quicker. But I am staying in control. Remembering to breathe. Remembering to keep that belly button in. Keeping that mind to core connection right now. All right, we're going to move on to the side of our waistline here. I'm going to shift onto one side. You can do this from your knee, from a staggered stance. So here I'd have one foot in front of the other like this. It adds a little extra balance. Or with both feet on top of each other. So you pick, you should make a nice straight line. You're not leaned forward or leaned back. We're just going to do 10 dips on each side. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch over. We're going to do that on the other side. So this is a little more challenging here for your core. Again, knee down, foot out, feet apart, or feet together. You pick. All are good variations. Bring those hips off the ground. Nice long line. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very nice. Carefully setting yourself back down on the floor. We have to go back to those bridges. So planting both feet down on the ground. This time what we're going to do is we're going to alternate coming up. So stepping up with one foot and then stepping up with the other foot. We're doing these single-sided exercises because that's how we walk, that's how we run, that's how we bike. Anytime you're pushing down or coming off the ground, it's one foot at a time. It's not both feet at a time. So we're going to strengthen balance and our leg in the single leg motion. Same rules apply as we do this. Everything stays nice and stable here in the middle. Don't have to go too fast. You want to keep everything nice and level. It's not really a race at all. It's more of an exercise, just in stability. Let's do 10 more. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Give yourself a nice full body stretch here. You definitely earned it. Breathing nice and deep. Even while you take this nice deep breath, can you remember how at the beginning we tried to put that air into the back of our lungs? Can you do that down here on the floor? Can you like make the back of your lungs expand and kind of like feel it push down into the floor? Because that's a really good way to breathe. That's a really good way to get just increase your like lung capacity and really actually use all your lung capacity, because we don't do that much. All right, we are going to roll it up onto all fours. So we are in our quadruped position, remembering that when we're in this position, we want to keep our back nice and stable. We're not doing this. We're just keeping everything nice and strong and using our core. We're going to alternate side to side. So we're going to go right for the arm and the leg all in one exercise. We're going to go slowly, really focusing on using that glute to lift the leg. And if your leg doesn't come super far off the ground, it's fine. It's not a big deal. If your leg's only right here, hover the toe, it's fine. As long as you stay in good posture with your core engaged. Let's do 10 more here to kind of finish this out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, have a seat down on the ground. What we're gonna do, one knee in, one leg out. Don't really care which side you start on. We're gonna reach down towards those toes. If you can't reach your toes, reach to your knee, to your shin, to your ankle, wherever your flexibility is gonna let you go today. We're all at different levels. Then take that opposite arm, reaching it up and over. You should feel a nice stretch in your lower back. I say nice stretch, not a mean stretch. If it's a mean stretch, back off a little bit. Don't go too far. You don't want to hurt your back or make yourself uncomfortable for the rest of the day. You should be feeling a nice stretch on the back side of your leg, maybe a little bit on the inside of your leg. It's kind of a nice, get all the areas type of stretch. And then I'm just going to go wide, walking myself around to the other side, bringing that other leg in, reaching towards knee, shin, ankle, toe, wherever you can reach. Bringing that arm, if you want to, completely optional, up and over. Again, feeling that nice stretch. If it's too much, back it off a little bit. Remembering to breathe. Feeling it in the back side of your leg, maybe a little bit on the inside of your leg. Keeping your sit bones down to the ground though, no, not letting them come up on either side. You should feel pretty even with both sit bones on the ground. And then one more, bringing both feet forward, setting up nice and tall, making sure that as we lean forward,
We're hinging at the hips, not hinging in the back, and reaching towards our toes. If we can't reach our toes, just reaching towards our shin, especially if we're keeping, so we can reach forward if we do this. If I arch my back, I can reach a lot forward. We want to hinge at the hips. So hinging at the hips, reaching forward, feeling a nice stretch all through the back side of our legs. Remembering to breathe. And just like that, we used up all of our time for today. I could just keep going, but we used it all up. So have a good rest of your day, rest of your afternoon. Yeah.
Thanks, Melissa. Bye.
Bye.